sensible reason you've come to this video expecting a bad review on this car, well, you're in the wrong place. Best to click back and go back to where you were. Because, well, quite simply put, the Audi A6 Allroad is a unique offering in Canada. Has only one rival, essentially, in the US. But in Canada, there is nothing quite like this large, mid-size, ultra-luxurious 2020 Audi A6 Allroad. And quite frankly, I love it. In fact, I can only think of one thing that slightly displeases me about this car. We'll walk around it, I'll tell you a few things about the car, then we'll go for a spin, and I'm certain, convinced, that you will agree with me that this is an exceptional automobile. Now, I know I said in a recent review, not exactly quote unquote, but screw the wagons, I'm bringing the minivan back. Well, look, my first love, my heart belongs to station wagons, always has. And quite frankly, when the opportunity to drive this 2020 A6 Allroad arose, I pretty damn near cleared my schedule of everything else in order to indulge in what is an absolutely fantastic automobile. And when I do say unique in the country, is because this car has no direct rival. Yes, there is a Mercedes E-Class wagon. However, this is an Allroad. Well, I guess now's as good a time as any to bring up just the sole issues I find with this car. Now, normally, the cladding you see here around the wheel wells would be a different shade than the exterior color. Well, the option to paint them takes away from the all-roadness of the car. And the fact that it's black, although it looks very elegant, takes away from the fact that it's an all-road. It could just be a regular A6 wagon. Yeah, I know that's not really an issue, but for me, being a fan of the all-road concept, it bugs me a little bit. But then who the hell am I, right? Now, in the US, they also have an E-Class wagon, but contrary to Canada, where we get the E-Class and then the AMGs, they have an E-Class wagon all-terrain, no regular E-Class wagons, which, you know, all-terrain, all-road, kind of pretty much self-explanatory that the two cars are direct competitors. Let's just talk about pricing while we're here. Base price in Canada for a Progressive, which in fact is what this model is, $75,200. There is also a Technic, which is $83,100. Trims are a little different in the US. The Premium Plus, which is the base model, is $65,900. And then there's the Prestige, which is $71,400. Now what you get with the Progressive package is a bunch of screens. I'll show them to you in a few moments. Heated front and rear leather seats, 19-inch wheels, power hatch, LED lights all over the place, and on and on and on. My car has a few options, and I just touched on, well, one of them anyway. The full body paint, all black, that's a $1,000 option. The car is supposed to have 19-inch wheels, but this has the optional 20s, which are a must on this car. And if, for good measure, you throw in this fabulous roof box, and this is excluding the actual crossbars, you're looking at just over $78,000. But the car has no competition, so, you know, they could charge $178,000, and, well, no, that would be exaggerating a little bit. But look, I mean, aesthetically, this car is subtle, clean, powerful, luxurious. There is no bad angle. It is beautiful under any lights. It's better looking than any SUV that Audi sells. It's better looking than any SUV that any other manufacturer sells. And I'm not making that up. I'm not just saying that. I absolutely mean it. There is something about the way the car sits. Oh, yes, standard air suspension. That also helps. And it's not even in the lowest position as you look at it now. Anyhow, there are many things to say about this sublime automobile. So we'll start with the usual tour, and let's get to it. Check how fast this goes up. Rise. Yes, power hatch. That's 850 liters of boot space, 30 cubic feet. In the real world, you do not need much more than that. Look how deep that is, and the finish. How beautiful it is, the carpeting. It's so wonderful. You know what? It's just a trunk, I know. But you know, as a family man, I love trunks. Speaking of family man, normally I would have the kids' seats in there, but well, they're not in there at this moment. But definitely they fit with absolute ease. Let's just slide in there. Well, because this is a midsize, let's just do that first. Now the dashboard, very reminiscent of what was in the e-tron Sportback I just reviewed. This, a lot of legroom, that's fantastic. You can sit 3 across with relative ease. And headroom, despite the massive hello box. Big dual pane sunroof is not too bad. So if you're like 6'1", your head will be rubbing against the beautiful black headliner. And there's a thing about the Audis, right? It's always the fit, the finish, the materials, how everything comes together. The attention to detail. Well, this is an A6, right? So you have to expect that it is pretty damn incredible. And well, there you have it. Very contrast stitching, just lovely touches. Again, you know, large handles, beautiful brushed, well, semi-brushed, matte finished aluminum. All right, so let's just get in. Superb, comfortable seats. Literally just looking at them, I'm thinking, I don't know, Key West? Fortunately, we can't go, but it's nice to drink. So let's start it up. So, in the Progressive, you have a combination of the very typical and beautiful analog Audi gauges with the digital readout, which is, as always, a fantastic combination of gauges and displays. Now here you have your standard 10.1-inch display with haptic feedback. Generally works quite well. I mean, my only complaint is if you want to activate your heated steering wheel, you gotta go through a sequence of controls, but sometimes you can forgive certain things. Now this is an 8.6-inch screen for your HVAC controls. The way it's divided, the way it's presented, it's just beautiful. It just works so wonderfully well. There are your drive select modes. So they appear right here. And you have an all-road mode, obviously. Actually, let's do that again. And here you have the suspension height adjustment that you can play with because, like I said, standard air suspension. Now visibility is pretty damn good as well. I like to sit nice and low, but the sight lines are wonderful, and boom, nice and easy to get around that left-hand corner. The dashboard itself, it's elegant, it's premium, it's luxurious, it's fabulous. God, I have so many things to say about this car. You know, storage, right, as sliding armrest storage. It's not hugely deep, but you know, you got a big trunk if you need to carry a lot of stuff. That's it. Now I really need to take it for a drive, so let's go. Now, I could have also said at the very beginning of this review video that if you're looking for an unbiased opinion, well, you've come to the wrong place again. Because look, it's plain and simple. I absolutely love everything about the Audi A6 Allroad. And I shouldn't admit that ever, but frankly, there are so few of these large luxury station wagons available on the market that I am not doing anyone a disservice by saying and admitting that I'm biased. I love this car because it's beautiful, it's quick, it's spacious, it's comfortable, it's luxurious. And anyway, that would have been my opinion anyhow had I not been biased. Look, it's a 55 TFSI, which means that it has a fair amount of power, in fact. But on paper, it doesn't sound, or it doesn't read like big numbers. So it's a turbocharged 3-liter V6, which puts out 335 horsepower. I mean, nothing very special. and 369 pound-feet of torque from 1370 to 4500 RPM. But it also has a 48-volt mild hybrid technology. So what that means is that if you want to go fast, you know, like say up here, for example, well, it gives you that extra boost in power. And if you want to go, you know, down here and be green and reasonable and sensible, it'll give you a green boost. Another trick with this car is it's got a 7-speed S-tronic dual clutch transmission, which means pow, downshift, downshift, wow. And quite honestly, I'm only in auto drive mode right now. I'm not in any dynamic mode or anything. And oof, the car feels far faster than those numbers suggest. And considering the girth and the weight of this car, it's rated at a 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 5.2 seconds. But it feels quicker than that, but you know that it's not, because, you know, the inertia being broken when the transmission downshifts. I have one tiny complaint. I don't know. Steering has, I mean, now it's loaded because I'm in a curve. Okay, now I'm going straight. It's got like a little bit more of a hole on center than I wanted. Now this is me trying to be hard on the car for whatever reason, and it doesn't change. Like I said, I was in auto, I'm going to go in dynamic, and it doesn't change. It's still there. It's relatively, it's nothing, in fact. It's what I should say. Brakes are immensely powerful, great pedal feedback and response. And the killer, the kicker, the hook, line, and sinker is the standard air suspension. So right now I just shifted into my individual mode. So the dampers, the suspension, the adaptive air suspension, I got it, is set to comforts, and I'm on a country road, as you can plainly see, and I'm just gliding and floating over the not very pretty surface. It is an incredible piece of tech that allows any and all cars with the right tune in the air suspension to give you immense comfort and a fantastic abilities to keep the car flat and stable when you want to, you know, heat things up a little bit. Look at that. That was a pretty big dip. Felt like nothing. Look, steering and the color are the only two things I can come up with to put this car down. Oh, and look, if you're hearing a little bit of noise in the background, that's because of the box on the roof. But honestly, if this was my car, the box would be bigger on the roof, so it would be even noisier, probably. So that's not an issue. In fact, it just adds to the look of this car. It's just, right, so it's all black. I said I'm not too crazy about that, but the fact of the matter is that most buyers of this car probably want that kind of color scheme, so who am I? What do I know? Bottom line is, this car is the thinking person's luxury automobile. It is the best of the luxury sedan with added cargo space, better aerodynamics, and it's just beautiful. It just flows visually. It's gorgeous, and it's rare, it's exclusive, it's executive, it's so good. So good. I mean, between this and an E-Class wagon, I mean, it kind of comes down to what I was saying about the E63 and the RS6. You pick your poison. Whatever brand you may have any loyalties to, or various noise, I don't know. But just buy one. Just get one, get it on the road to ensure their survival for the next few years. Decades, maybe?